and welcome back. Picking up where we left off last time in the Shadow Empire. There are some things I'm going to do before I roll the turnover. One of the things that came to mind to me while we were over the intern is Austerlitz is maybe going to potentially come back from this, at least from a civilian standpoint. Maybe the government assets aren't going to recover. But even in the case of the civilian assets, right now they're pretty badly damaged. So it's probably better off handing most of the zone over to the neighbor zones. So that's one of the things we're going to do right now, is we're going to say, in the case of the capital, we're going to do zone borders, and we're going to adjust it so the capital controls a bunch of territory. Basically controls the territory to its east. As Austerlitz comes back, we might give it some of its territory back. But for the moment, it's better off in the hands of functioning cities, like the capital to its east, or Belgorod to its west. And this can be a little bit of a tedious process. And a lot of these hexes probably don't really matter right now, because a lot of these hexes don't have anything in them. When it comes to probably what I'll start doing next turn, assuming the logistics improves, this will be useful for next turn. So I'm going to start trying to diversify our cities so we don't have all the eggs in one basket. And possibly so we get some more metal as well. Metal and radioactives and stuff. I think we got enough petrol, so I don't need to select petrol. So one way to get more metal right now is we do have lots of ruins that we think don't have any artifacts in them. Right? If they had artifacts, we'd probably want to salvage them for the artifacts. But right now, we don't think from early artifact searching that they have any. So we can get metal by putting salvaging posts on any ruins that we find. Also, from a nuclear weapon standpoint, we probably want more radioactive income, so we can launch more revenge salvos. Though we have to be a little bit careful those that we're moving ourselves towards victory, not just bringing the score leader down. And yeah, this is a bit tedious. But I think in the end this will be beneficial. Because basically we're handing all this territory over to a city that can actually use it. Oh, this is a lot of territory. Yeah, we've got a lot of territory. And probably the biggest problem with having this much territory is that we don't necessarily have anyone. We have a shortage of people, and we got a lot of land. Whereas our enemies got a lot of people, and they maybe don't actually have a lot of land. Though they have a decent amount of land. That's one situation where maybe us actually launching atomic weapons isn't necessarily going to bite us in the butt. Is it's only going to drag their population score down and not increase their land, not decrease their land. I'm mainly showing this because to show how long it would take to do this normally. Normally you wouldn't do this, because normally this is just too tedious and isn't beneficial. But in our circumstance, where we want to harden our network to atomic weapons, I'm basically trying to hand everything over from the destroyed city to a usable city. So that when we build these back, build the zone back, we have a place for the workers to come from. Like, this is an iron mine, metal mine. We probably want to build a colony there. To start that colony, it probably makes sense to start it using one of the intact functional cities, and not the ruined city. As one might imagine, that's not necessarily the best candidate for starting a new city from. It doesn't have any population to draw from. Also, as I'm doing this, because I haven't done all this a lot before, learning some tricks to make it a little faster. Which is sort of clicking on a diagonal is semi-efficient. Okay, so this should be the last Y sweep, and we'll have it all transferred. The other thing I'll do is we'll do a bunch of unit merging, and then we'll cycle the turn. Hopefully this will be a pretty boring end turn, because we did get peace reasonably recently. We would like the logistics to properly come back, so we can start to deploy some of our 11,000 troops, and potentially volunteer up more troops as well. Volunteering up a bunch more troops would help as well with getting the eastern border properly secure, and getting the mercenary or getting the militia off the front line. The militia at this point has just become a liability, and it's a morale hit to me more than anything, watching them die in droves. Okay, so we've reduced ocelots down to just the city. So with that, the neighboring zones should take over for it in operating its side assets. Because they do have some population, and their population is growing. And there are some side problems, right? So the capital, I think... oh no, the capital has just dealt with interradiation, so the capital should start to recover as well. The capital is also in a much better spot to recover, as I did get it much more bunkered up. We had Bunker 5, we'll have Bunker 6 for the next war. The next tedious thing I'm going to do is we're going to do whatever we can to merge up these units. So single, 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 single. I'm not necessarily going to move them around, but if we got multiple on a stacks like this, multiple weak ones, we merge them. So there we go. So 2 units became 1 unit. And that's basically what we're on the lookout for, is situations where we can turn. Just slightly reduce the number count of how many tags I need to move around. Also, they're much more likely to be real combat assets if they're not a bunch of little tags. Okay, cancel that. Let's do it the other way around. Little one into the big one. Yeah, little one into the big one works. A bunch of small tags here. This one might not work super well. Yeah, because one of them doesn't have a sentinel walkers with them. That's fine, that's fine. Might be able to merge you into some of the other ones. Doing like that? Yeah. And I don't think we're going to be able to get the 4 into any unit. Yeah, because the max is like 10. Should be able to move the 1 and the 2 into something. Oh, no, because there's walkers in that one. No, okay. Can't do it because of walkers in the 2. Okay. And then the mercs don't matter as much. Might be able to merge these 2 mercs. Probably not going to get much with the mercs as far as mergers go. Yeah. Okay, so that's the merger. This is one thing we're going to have to watch out for in the next war, is that we've got a nice long border with the Dessel Reich that are at war with Bronburn. So this border that is safe for us may very rapidly become hostile. And that's something I should be mentally aware of and prepared for. Okay, capital. Capital, everyone is happy, so that's the check I needed to make for end the turn. I'm not going to worry about you, because at this point you've got stuff we don't care about anymore, and a very small amount of civilian industry. The civilians should actually be able to repair the scout station. And then you're functional. I just gave you a bunch more assets to run, so that might get a little bit complicated for you, but that's otherwise optional or operational. Looks like we're going to need troops over there, so we need to raise another brigade. Or, actually, we got a brigade. Got a brigade that'll do that. The 14th can cover that whole. I will actually go ahead and move 14th forward. I think they got missed on the troop movements. I will leave the HQ over here just to watch this hole. There's a decent possibility before war breaks out, these guys will starve to death. In which case the HQ will take the easy win for us. And similarly with these pockets down here. It may make sense to push forward a little bit. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Because we're in open here, so open ground is not really... It's not necessarily going to get any worse than being a little farther forward. Okay, ideally, we probably want more than Xeno Mercs on that tile, so to be fair, the motor ice is there, so we don't need to rush to fix that. So this front is probably about as good as it's going to be, at least until the war goes hot again. Or I can get another brigade over here. If we can get another brigade over here, we can make it a better front. And oh, this is a front we're gonna have to deploy troops to as well. Bronburn is... Oh yeah, it looks like Bronburn has finally overrun what was the ally over here. Zengelshold probably still exists, but where they exist is a different question. Oh yeah, they're still down here. Yeah, so between the Blackmailer and Bronbund. They've pretty much taken over the sec. So I need to deploy more troops in the west, annoyingly. So, and worse, I think this is I think I put a roadblock down here. May not have done on this side. Traffic signs. Got a traffic sign. Ah, you have one, so I need to remove because we're gonna have to deploy on that road. Okay, so quick once over on the fronts. I think it's now time to cycle the turn. See if we get the truck station and the rail asset running. That's what we're waiting for down here, is the throughput improvements on the rail. The rail is working, but the rail is not working full speed. We should have a little bit more hiring here, which should help the rail. Same thing with the truck station. I think the truck station is working, but it's not working full speed. Though the truck station will be pretty much back to full speed, I think, next turn. Oh no, it's got 178 damage, so it's so high level that it actually has a bunch of hit points, so it's not mostly working. Paid only 26% of the protection cost, so that's why it was so unproductive. And it was limited by 13%, so it'll probably be down to like about 8% after the turn. Okay, so we also need to get more workers working here, which we should hopefully have soon. We got plenty of money. Yep, second of the turn. And as logistics improve, we should see our stockpiles improve in various things. Because in theory, the cities, the productive cities, should have still been producing to some degree, even with basically the bottleneck of the railroad. So what we're hoping not to see here is an artillery strike on any of our cities. Because our artillery strike on any of our cities is an indication the war's gone hot again. And in our circumstance, depends on which city they strike. If the war goes hot, to be fair. As long as they don't necessarily target the capital again, I think would be fine. And depending upon where they move, this might be pretty boring in a event turn. They'd have to literally move along our borders. And at this point, they're getting a pretty decent border with number 2. So most of the motion is probably going to be towards number 2's territory at this point. I think we're still looking for robotic infantry. So robotic infantry would be one way to solve our manpower problem. I could pick one of the fronts and to start to deploy a bunch of robotic infantry at it. And they should be competent on the defense. They won't be competent for attack, but as you can see, I've already got large blocks of troops that, because of how short I am on models, aren't attacking most of the time, just because they're not in a circumstance where they can do surrounds, and they're not powerful enough to just straight up beat the enemy in a fair head-on fight. And that's basically perfect position for the robot infantry, right? If you're like, hey, I got a unit here that I don't plan on attacking with. Well, that's what robotic infantry is good at, right? Is it basically suffers penalties to attack, but doesn't suffer those penalties to defense, so get a lot of robotic infantry. They can form a pretty good bulwark. If their whole point is to stall, right? They're great stall troops. Use them to stall. I think you can only form normal infantry with them as well, so they'd be light infantry brigades, which is perfect for forming picket duty, but not really good for attacking. Also, depending on what you're fighting, not necessarily good for fighting in general, but because they don't have the defensive firepower machine guns. Oh, I suppose I could do machine gun units. Could give them one unit of human with a machine gun to back up their defensive firepower. That wouldn't be too expensive. Okay, back to us, and it was a fairly boring turn, so that's good to see. Boring turn gives us more time to get the logistics running. And get more units deployed. 6 decisions. Incident in the library. We like Mind. This is the commander. This is the commander of the light brigade, of light infantry brigade. So I can probably piss this guy off, and it wouldn't be a problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay, protests. This is actually an interesting situation, right? So I'm meritocracy. Actually, before I take this choice, what are the demands placed upon me? Meritocracy to 79, humanist wants democracy to 54. So if I could pull 7 points of democracy here, I should probably go with the democracy option. Oh, and I'm going to get minor worker strike and bell. So minor worker strike and bell is going to be democracy. If I give into their demands here, that will clear this one. And then I can focus on meritocracy. So we'll do that.
Received.
Marauders, yeah, best to do what we can to minimize that. We have an empty mine, so let's fill the mine back up to what we can. Oh, in fact, we got 2 empty mines. So we got level 9 and a level 2. So let's do level 9 first. Which zone is this? This is Ballad. Upgrade the level 9. We only need 9,000 more fuel. Just under 9,000. Give you some money for ammo. That's always a decent deal when it pops up. And we're going to have to do peripheral mining again in Belrod. Which, as you can see now, is a much bigger zone. So that's one of the reasons we need to also delocalize our zoning if we can. Zones are a bit on the big side. Okay, we're having hiring problems in the capital. So if we can, colonize as workers, give them all the workers. It's not going to make a big difference, but it'll help a little bit. Worker population is growing. Population is just growing. Happiness is not quite improving at the level I want to. And I do want the happiness improving. So that's mainly the zone quality falling. Zone quality is falling because of the damage to the assets. Civilian assets, mostly. So normally to improve happiness in a zone, I would do like worker privileges, if I could, or raise wages. But that's gone, because we've raised wages as much as we can. We don't have worker privileges on us at the moment. So the temporary solution is throw money at the zone.
Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Okay, that's the zone happiness for a moment. Logistic situation. Can we strategic move the ICBM battery? And we can. Which is something I probably want to do, just so that it's not under target fire in the next barrage. I don't need to move it necessarily all that far off. So we'll move it 3 off this way. And that's actually a good sign from logistics. So that's saying that we now have enough logistics that we can do strategic redeployments. Though we do have a bunch of units that apparently didn't receive ammo. No ammo deployment on some places along here. That should get better as time goes on. Okay, and that looks... Well, that looks as bad as fine as it's going to be. I need to deploy more units over here, which means we need replenishment units to deploy, I think. No, we've got them queued up pretty much. We're just waiting on logistics to get them out there. Okay. Transport as well. Armor's fine. Machine guns could use a little bit. RPGs could use a little bit. Okay. So So we are still kind of waiting for a little bit more of an improvement. We might go one more turn before I start trying to deploy new brigades. And we will need to deploy new brigades. We're going to have a real big problem if we don't deploy more new brigades. We're going to start losing territory if that happens. These guys are pretty off network. That's maybe why they didn't get resupplied in their case. But there's also a lot of guys that just need to be deployed. Some moving eastward. What's our construction reports looking like? Completed the truck station in Bell. That's the only thing that finished. Most things, with the exception of in Ergstone itself, most things progressed at full speed. So that's good to see. Most things are progressing at full speed. Which is maybe an argument not necessarily to focus too much on Bell. Okay, Bell's having emigration problems. People are emigrating away from it. But other than that, Bell's fine. That would mostly be fixed with education. China territory. We are going to call it China territory because there's a slave trader here. And we're gonna buy the money, or we're gonna buy the population. In this case, I've been driving the happiness down. So let's also play some strat cards to raise civilian happiness. Oh, and that's going to be giving money to the populace as well. Okay, there we go. Much happier civilian population. I do want to lower, because the government workers are getting paid a little high here, so we're going to go and do zone orders and drop the government workers a little bit.
Order acknowledged.
And assets in here. We're building a rail station, we're building a truck station. This point, because this has got the slave trader, I do probably want this place to be fairly hardened. Let's start building a bunkerization here. We'll bunker up this place as well. Because what I might start doing from China is I might try to either draft or colonize using their population. Oh, well, you're growing... Why are you growing so quickly? Population increased. Increased. We should be drafting from you. Why are you not drafting? Maybe shortage of logistics? Probably. Oh no, it looks like it's being delivered, so why did you not draft any? Oh, I assume it must be logistics. That would be the reason. Most logical reason. Check the zone orders anyway. Yeah, so they should have been recruiting. Here's a place where I definitely do want to do recruiting pretty heavily. So we're going to go and we're going to up your bonus that you give to recruits. You're waiting on actives. There's a decent possibility come next war that you should be rearmed. So we should be able to send out a shot next time. Logistics over here is going to be pretty bad, to be honest, until what? Now I'm trying to remember where that thought process is going. The logistics over here is going to be pretty bad until all the reinforcements arrive. I think it's going to end up happening. So we got the 6th is those 5. 16th is the guys basically handling the encirclement. Yeah, those guys are what's left of the 2nd. Only if the needs to take up the gap in between. Okay. Yeah, and as supplies get down here, we should be doing better. Okay, and that's not line territory. We probably do need to run a road up into that. Because we still have a decent amount of construction capacity, so we can definitely road into some pretty hostile terrain. Marks don't need logistics. From simply a reconnaissance standpoint, it does probably make sense to spread these guys out to increase their logistics, or increase their eyes, effective eyes. Even if we're not going to be using them in, well, even if they're going to basically get chewed up the moment combat starts. Anyway, we do still want to do more deployments, but I want logistics to improve a little bit more. I think next turn we should be in a good spot, logistics-wise. Assuming we can keep the government employees rising in the capital. Strat cards. So because of the decline in government administration, we are getting a lot less political power, which is a little bit of a problem. I guess that's probably good enough for you. Swap your research. Probably over to aircraft design. Applied science, solar energy. That's good enough. Solar energy. Swap your research as well. That's good. Not too worried about armor. We're mostly facing infantry. Really better conventional gun. So actually, conventional gun might make sense if I'm going to swap the tanks over to HE. Vehicle armors may be more important. We got enough water, so we don't need to detox it. Not using walkers. Boost the combat result of missile launchers. I don't think that affects the ICBMs. Payload would affect the ICBMs. I think. Prospecting might also be good as well. Yeah, let's do prospecting. Prospecting should help us with the peripheral mining skill checks. So one thing we do kind of want to do is siphon off population using, or not support faction, Call to Success, which is going to require us to covert upskill the head of the spies. Though in some places we're getting pretty close, right? So that's about too short from working. The easiest way to do that is just deploy a bunch of spies to keep our spy count high.
Yes, sir.
In the various nations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we've deployed all the spies, and we already worked out this is probably not going to make sense to deploy right now. As most of the targets are probably adequately loyal to their current overlords. Yeah, and we can see that's what's left of Zagelhold. So they're basically dead. And these guys doing a little bit better. But they're not doing super great. That is a pretty high political cost card as well. Already trading with that target. Could I sneak them some science? Looks like a no. Because we're already doing it. Okay. That makes sense. The degree that I can give them science, we're doing it already. And we're not going to get that high enough. We're going to get that up to like 185, and that'd be too short. Might be able to open up free trade, but I'm not worried about trade. Trade's not necessarily going to help them. Slow the enemy down. Okay, so good time to cycle the turn. Oh, we did spend them. I was about to go like, oh, the money is a lot lower than I... Maybe I should have acquired some more money, but hopefully we'll be fine and not have any payment issues over the end turn. Usually I look at like, oh, 9,000, 8,000, that's plenty. I forgot that right now, because of the long-term effects of nuclear weapons use on our territory, we're paying our guys a lot. A lot of our guys are pretty highly paid specialists at this point. Okay, seeing some fight between the two majors. Based on the time, this is where I'm going to put the part break in at the end of this end turn. And then the beginning of the next part will be the beginning of next turn. The guys we've got encircled are gonna starve to death. That's definitely happening. Okay, so that's not them attacking yet. Just them moving around in the on the borders. And we're on to the militarists. The militarists are not really a major player at this point. They're going down the drain. They're more of a major player than our former, well, technically current friendship ally. Current friendship ally is having a bad day because he's sandwiched between the two theocratic empires. This is the other theocratic empire, and unlike us, who has the magic of diplomacy and able to negotiate ceasefires, they don't. So they've been getting squished. Winning this game is going to be tricky at this point. We're third on the podium, and being third on the podium does mean we stand a good chance of potentially coming back and winning. But the thing that's going to make it difficult is until we get to be second on the podium, I need to keep them within like 25 war score of each other. So I can't just pick on one of them. I have to, at some point, probably pick on both of them. And we don't have the troops to do that right now. So there's sort of that fine line of I can't let one of them win while defeating the other one. So this is round 208. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow, because I'm going to record at least one more part, if not two more parts tonight. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short stretch and then do the next part. So until then, hope you all have a good time and have good luck. Catch you all in the next part. Bye for now.